Hey guys, so today I'm chatting with my friend April, and her and I actually met in Australia like 4 years ago now, actually. And it wasn't until after Australia that I realized she had this awesome blog, and actually, I'm not even positive if it started during Australia or after, so I'll have to ask you about that too. But I think that everything April has to share today is going to be super duper interesting and totally different from the last episode. So, April, I
Hello.
guess let's just jump into it. So tell us about your journey, your, I guess, personal development journey, or whatever you would like to, wherever you would like to start today.
Sure, yeah. My name is April. I'm from Canada, like you said. We met in Australia probably 4 years ago, roughly, give or take. Um, I guess I'll start with my blog journey since we've already touched on that. Um, when we met, I did have a blog, but it wasn't the one I have now. It was just sort of a personal blog that I used, it's deactivated now. You can't find it, so
Oh man, can't creep on you.
it was just me basically sharing my thoughts about everyday life, but it eventually started morphing into me sharing my thoughts about, um, ethical products and sustainable products and things that were eco-friendly and environmental issues in the world and things like that, human rights issues. And eventually I kind of thought that I should probably create a separate platform to talk about that stuff because it wasn't really just oh, I went to the coffee shop and I had this thought anymore. And it was getting a bit heavier and a bit more intense. So that's when probably, I don't know, half a year after I moved back from Australia, maybe a year after, I started The Honest Route, which is my blog now. I started that in
Oh.
February 2015. Um, just
What
to share, just
what
to share
was
any.
sorry, what was leading you into talking more about that stuff? So even though it was more of a personal blog and you started talking about the ethical and sustainable stuff, what was going on in your life at that time to make you like
Mm. Um, Sort of a long story, but to sum it up, I had many years prior been on a trip to Mexico to help build a couple of houses and just sort of seeing the poverty in the area where we were, despite these people working so hard every day, made me really start to question, where things come from and what
mm,
equality really means and how my purchases in North America might affect somebody in Mexico, for example, because I don't remember what the brand was, but we were told not to wear particular brands of clothing if we could avoid it because it might upset some people because their family members might be working in a factory where they weren't paid well, for example. Um, so it suddenly became very personal, right?
yeah.
And then I had to meet these people, you know, and I think I had some of the clothing at home, maybe one piece or something. And I kind of thought like, wow, I accidentally forced these people to make my clothes, for next to nothing. Even though I didn't know I was doing that, it's basically
Yeah.
what happened, right? So, and I was pretty young when I went there. So when I came back, I was still kind of thinking about that and started to sort of look into what fair trade meant and, um, human rights and equality in general, and started really kind of diving into that. And that is kind of what started the whole journey.
The honest root.
Yes,
Ah.
many years later.
That's crazy. So how old-ish were you when you went to Mexico and started discovering all of that?
I think I would have been 19 at the time because I was in hair school at the time. I was studying to become a hairstylist. And on my 1 week break in the summer, I went to Mexico with an organization who was run by the parents of a friend of mine. And they were the ones down there working with these people and building homes and trying to create a safe area and working with people who are exploited in various ways. Um, So it was crazy, like coming face to face with these people who were being exploited actively, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine being exposed to that at 19. Like, I feel like I would have had a million questions too. Like, oh my gosh, what else have I bought? What else is in my closet that is
Yeah,
not ethical? Like, that's that bad.
absolutely. And even just things that are byproducts of, for example, fruit, the, food industry, people who would often pick the fruit that was grown there, um, would be working in these sort of like labor camps, and the human rights violations that would go on in the camps against like women and children were just unbelievable. And so it wasn't that necessarily the men working there weren't being paid fairly. It was all the byproducts that would happen to the community by having these big
Mm.
corporations set up their businesses there, which
Wow.
just blew my mind. I was like, this is insane and way bigger than I could ever understand, but I really feel I need to do something about it, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. What do you think first made you realize that you could do something different? Like, was there a specific thing that happened that you were like, oh, I can actually make a difference? Like, I can actually have a bigger impact even than just myself?
Yeah, well, going there and talking to the people who ran the compound that I stayed in, which is where, so there was like this compound that they ran, that
Hmm.
had a few people working there. Some of them were locals, some of them were people like myself from North America. Um, just meeting them and seeing that they had started to provide a safe space for these people, and like the people they employed were given not only fair wages but housing and like spiritual guidance and sometimes counseling,
That's
family
awesome.
support. Yeah, just crazy, benefits given to the workers there. Um, and then on top of that, one of my friends who was down there at the time, from the same city that I grew up in, actually, she was looking into studying international development. And she was really interested in fair trade and started talking to me about that. And I think that's where I sort of got introduced to the idea, perhaps. And
Ah.
so she started to sort of explain what that meant, like looking after the well being of the people who work for you. And I was like, well, I mean, I figured that's how it should always be, but since it's not, I guess I better look into this fair trade situation, you know?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Like, well, I guess this fell in my lap. Time
Yeah,
to like, take charge in some way.
yeah, exactly. And I'm never the type of person to just be like, well, that sucks, and then kind of leave it there. I'm like,
That's the suck. See ya.
yes, exactly. Never,
Okay.
I'm like very, well, I'm very strong-willed and very like, if I see a problem, I absolutely get invested in it myself, usually accidentally, but that's just what
Not a
happens.
bad thing. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so at first when you decided that you wanted to like do something different, was it more on just a personal level, like that you wanted to start being more conscious of the purchases that you were making, or was it more like, okay, I want to make the change for myself, but I also want to help other people learn about this too? Like, I guess what direction did you go in when you first wanted to do something about it?
Yeah, so it was a bit of both. Um, what I first actually started doing was volunteering with organizations that work with victims of human trafficking. Even though it wasn't directly related to, um, it doesn't seem directly related to fair trade, but and all of that stuff that I was learning about. But these organizations often took people who ended up trafficked for various things, either sex or labor, um, because they were so impoverished or they were exploited because they were vulnerable, um, and taught them skills so that they wouldn't be impoverished like that again if they, you know, applied these new skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it seemed pretty related. That's where I sort of first dipped my toes into the whole thing. And I then realized in just talking about going to the meetings and volunteering that it was really hard to convince people to care, which made me really
Mm.
like that made me really angry. Um, just the apathy of North Americans in general, you know. Like to me it was like you're hearing about this horrible thing that's happening and you just don't you literally don't care at all. That
Yeah, like they can't even play the naive card.
yeah,
They're
it's
just,
kind of terrible. Like,
yeah.
um so long story short, I got super mad and decided that I was just going to blast the message out to as many people as I could.
I love it. I'm glad you did.
Like, you will listen to me.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So did you already know, like, was blog your first instinct, or did you think about doing it in other ways?
Um, well, originally I wanted to start filming people, and I borrowed a camera from my boss actually. I never actually did it because I was too shy to just like go up to people and be like, "Yo, have you heard about human trafficking and like what do you think of that?"
Yeah.
Let me just interrupt your day with this extremely dark topic. Uh, yeah, so I mean, I gave the video camera back to my boss, um, and then realized like, okay, so I'm not willing to actually just go up to people and start talking about this, but I do have this blog that has people who are interested in hearing what I have to say. So I may as well just start there and, try to blast this out to as many people as who will listen.
You
Um,
will listen to me.
yeah, exactly. I'll force you to listen to me. Um, and the responses I got were sort of in two camps. Like there was a people who had never heard about it, human trafficking and exploitation and all these labor issues. But once they did, they were just as upset as I was, and they really wanted to do something about it. And then there was the people who um, either had never heard about it before or did hear about it before, but just at the end of the day didn't really care. So I thought that was really interesting, and I kind of thought like, well, there's enough people here who are a little bit interested, so I may as well just keep talking about this. And plus, like, I was really pissed. So
Yes.
I really wanted to talk about it, so I did. And I just, you know, that's kind of how it took off was because I was too shy to actually just go up to people. I started using my personal blog for it, which eventually turned into
Ah. It's all connecting now. It makes sense. That's crazy that you were finding the same, I guess, issue online as you did in person, with people being like those polar opposites of caring so much and wanting to help and then understanding but still not giving a single shit at all.
pretty much. And like, I mean, there are people in the middle, of course, but those were the two biggest responses I got was like, oh my God, this is awful. What can I do? And meh, it'll never change. So why would I bother trying?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I know we talked a little bit about like therapy when you had emailed me before, and just different things that you've gone through in the last years. So
Oh,
do you want
yes.
to touch on that?
Sure, yeah. Just in general, like my personal experience with that.
Yeah, I guess your experience, and I have a feeling that it ties into, like, maybe indirectly, but I have a feeling it ties into what you're doing with the honest route and kind of how that's come about and what you're doing now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess about probably 2 years ago now, I started getting panic attacks. They were pretty bad. Like I would have to go home from work. I thought I was dying, basically.
Oh, that's what I hear.
Coming down. Yeah, or even if it wasn't that dramatic, I would think I was coming down with some horrific sickness that I would probably never recover from.
Wow.
So I would like go home in a panic thinking I was gonna have to go to the emergency room. Um, but by the time I got home from work, I would feel fine, which tends to not be what happens if you actually have a life-threatening disease. So
Yeah,
eventually I figured
definitely.
out, like, oh, I'm not dying. I'm pretty sure I'm having panic attacks. Um, so yeah, I went to therapy eventually. Put it
Good.
off.
How was
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I
Was
put it
that
off for a while, but eventually I did go, and um, yeah, that's been an incredible experience. If
what led you into finally like biting the bullet and going to therapy? Or yeah, like I know you avoided it for a while, so what finally steered you to make it happen?
Um, honestly, it's just I had no other choice as far as I could tell. Like they were getting so bad and so frequent, like they were happening multiple times a week sometimes, and they were so intense. Like I couldn't do anything until it would subside. Like I just could not. I didn't know how to like ride the wave, as my therapist says, and just wait it out, to
Mm.
continue with my life, or how to help it not be so severe that I would be totally incapacitated for the duration of it, right?
Yeah.
So basically, I had no other choice. So I kind of had to find a solution. So I went to therapy thinking, like, well, I guess we'll try this because I don't know what else to do. So,
Mm. That makes sense. So did you know before you went to therapy, was it like self-diagnosed anxiety attacks, or did you know from, I guess, like what cued you into knowing that you were having anxiety attacks and it wasn't this illness other than, you know, coming home and things cooling off after a little bit of time?
um, I think I think it's a combination of realizing that as soon as I would leave the area, it would calm down within, pretty quickly, within 10 minutes to an hour usually, where otherwise it
Mm.
would go on for hours sometimes. Um, that said to me, like, okay, what I'm thinking is happening to me isn't the actual problem. There's
Mm-hmm.
something else going on, right? Also, I have to give a shout out to people in the media for talking about, anxiety and stuff because it kind of gave me a small idea of like maybe that's what's happening to me. I could explore this, with a therapist. They might be able to help.
Definitely. I totally agree. That's really cool that you said that because I feel like it is becoming, even like now still, it's becoming such an okay topic to bring up on social media. Like it's not such a, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're talking about anxiety or depression or therapy or counseling. It's like it's okay. We're humans. Like sometimes we need help. All the time we need help. Yeah,
Absolutely.
not a bad
Yeah.
thing to
And
admit.
yeah. And I mean, it's not something that I talk about all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but I do occasionally share with people like, yes, I've gone through this and it's just part of my life,
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
it just happens and it is what it is. And I think it was easier for me to take that step and seek help because I'd heard like dozens of other people at least mention it or talk about it in depth before, everywhere from like Instagram to celebrities to BuzzFeed to like, you name it. So,
Yeah, thank goodness they're finally spreading the message now and making it normal.
absolutely 100% agree.
Yes, so good. So therapy, you would say, was that like the biggest tool that helped you in getting through the anxiety attacks? Was there anything else that you utilized like through that time, like meditation or books or podcasts or media?
I think therapy was the catalyst for helping me get through it and helping me to at least discover other things that will help me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that I talked or let you know previously that like trying to adopt a more minimalist lifestyle was sort of came out of therapy because I realized that I'm often extremely overstimulated. Like I am on my computer and my phone all day at work, and then I come home and run a blog, so I'm constantly on my computer again. And because I tend to hoard things, there's just mess all over my apartment. So there's just like stuff coming at me all the time. And I don't like that actually. I don't like it. So I decided I better just change it, you know?
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, I think that's a pretty normal thing for, I guess, like everybody now, just with social media and all of the ads that are always being thrown at us online
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
everywhere
absolutely.
else. It's just like we pretty much don't even know what not having all of that looks like anymore. Like it's so rare for us to take time away and to become more minimalist. So,
Well, even like at some point I discovered Kinfolk, like the books, and they have like a magazine that comes out quarterly or something. And somehow I vaguely heard that they talked about slow living. So I was like, okay, I'm going to read those books because
ooh,
that's like not overstimulated, right?
that's what I need.
Yeah. So even just things like that. So I got the books and absolutely loved them. And just from things like that, I've been trying to do little things for myself, like take time to brew my coffee exactly how I want it, and like
Ooh.
just pause at the end of my evening sometimes and quickly jot down a couple sentences of how my day went. And all of that, I think, is part of that change that was started by attending therapy, is just these little acts of, self-care.
Yes. Would you say are those some of your favorites then? Like journaling something after a
Yeah,
day and your coffee? Like what are your other little favorite things that force you to slow down and appreciate the moment?
totally. Yeah, a good cup of coffee, a good cup of tea, a good book. I also love to just go to my grandparents' house. They have a big, big property just up the side of a mountain. And so
Ooh.
sometimes like go out there, and there's not very good cell phone reception. So sometimes if I'm feeling really overwhelmed, I'll just go hang out with them for a weekend because I can't really use my phone even if I wanted to.
Yeah, those are the
One
best.
corner of the house and like hold it up to the window pretty much if I want to get cell reception. So, which is actually so awesome because I'm like, well, I'm forced to go outside and hang out with their dogs, and run around in the forest for a little while, which is just so, I feel like it sounds so weird to say, but it's very like healing to the soul. I think we all need to spend some time outside.
Definitely. I completely agree. I've actually been working on that a lot myself lately. So, earlier this month, we went up into the middle of the woods and to this beautiful hot springs, and there wasn't really service there either. And I was like, this is so nice. So, we were only there for 3 days, but I was like, this
Mm,
needs to be like a regular thing. Like, I just felt so, so good after. And actually, the idea for this podcast came shortly after that. So,
yeah,
great things come from like slowing down and getting away from all of this overstimulation.
absolutely. That's so cool
Yeah.
you did that.
Yeah, I love it. I gotta make it a regular thing now. Um, so is there anything that you are working through at the moment, or what is
Mm,
it? What is your personal development and personal growth? What's it called? Habit. What does that look like right now? Are you reading any books, listening to anything?
yeah, I think, well, it's not a very sexy thing to say, but
Let's
just sort
hear it.
of just sort of like taking things one thing at a time and trying not to overwhelm myself. Like, I guess learning my pace is what I mean by that.
Mm,
So I'm somebody who tends to just like freak out and do all the things all at once, and then I exhaust myself, and then I don't want to do it ever again. And then,
I feel you.
6 months later, I'll be like, wait, I'm still pissed about that whole human trafficking thing. Let me try again, let me try and fix the world one more time. But just learning my pace, like knowing what I can accomplish in a day without becoming overwhelmed is
Mm,
valuable to me because it allows me to actually get more done in the long run. So
yeah,
just trying to really find what my pace is and stick to that and exercise a little self-control by not going overboard, which is really hard, but super valuable, I think.
definitely. It's so much easier to like overachieve now and not recognize how much work you've put in than to just like take it slow and appreciate every little piece of that journey and be like, oh, this was a fun like 2 second moment. Oh, this was a fun 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny how much 5 minutes can just sort of give you the strength to carry on. It's
Definitely.
it's weird, but it is the case.
It is. What's helping you slow down the most right now and pick out those moments?
I've been coloring lately. Adult coloring
Ooh.
books,
Yes.
adult coloring postcards. So, yeah, I've just recently just been like, you know, pouring myself a cup of tea, either putting on Spotify or putting on a good YouTuber to listen to in the background. Like, I love Jenny and David Mustard. So I'll like
Ooh.
play in the background and color. I'll just color for an hour or two sometimes. If I'm really
Wow.
into it, I'll like really
Yeah.
so much coloring.
What kind of things are you coloring?
Well, I'm
Let's
glad you asked.
let's hear the juicy details.
Yeah, my riveting life. It's just like a pack of coloring postcards that are like Enchanted Garden theme or something. I think I bought them in Portland last summer.
Ooh.
They're really fun, and I love like whimsical looking things. So it's just, you know. all the things.
Beautiful. Of course. How funny back then. So, a year ago in Portland, you knew that you were going to need to slow down in 2018.
I guess I did, didn't I?
You must have.
Oh, yes, I had the foresight to know.
Well, cool. I feel like that's been really, really helpful. Like, I feel like we touched on a lot of totally different topics again today.
Yes, I am a mixed bag, I have to say.
I love your mixed bag. I would take a
Well,
candy from your mixed bag any day.
oh, wow, thank you. You're
Oh, oh,
welcome to do that, yes.
oh, I definitely will. Well, where can people find you if they want to learn more about human trafficking or just connect with you in general?
Yeah, so if you want to check out me online, it's The Honest Root, pretty much anywhere. TheHonestRoot.com, at The Honest Root on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Um, I now my platforms have sort of branched into talking about, ethical buying, like fair trade and stuff like that. But as well as things that are just good for the planet and good for ourselves, so sustainability in general. Which is so important. I think if you're going to try and help someone else, you also need to be okay with yourself first. Otherwise, it's just not really going to work that well.
Yes, just like they say, like make sure that you fill your own cup before you try to fill other people's. Like
Yes,
that's
yes, exactly.
yes. Is there anything that you have that you're working on coming up? Any fun
Mm,
projects or fun trips or anything?
well, we are going up to the coast this week, so I'm really excited for that. I hope we'll get some really good photos out of that.
Oh,
Yeah, but I mean, in general, just working with some really cool brands who are doing amazing things, to protect the people and protect the planet and things like that is always what's going on the Honest Route. So yeah, definitely come check it out. Say hi. Let me know if you came here from Mariah's podcast.
yeah, definitely. And if you have a brand that would majorly align with it, I'm sure that you guys could work something out together.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing everything. I'm so excited for everyone to hear this.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to be on your podcast. This was really fun.
I'm glad you think so. I totally agree. It's so much fun, and I get to learn more about my friends.
Yeah, well, and we already know each other, so it's like super chill talking to you just about,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
what's
yeah.
going on.
No pressure.